Welcome back to the channel. It's Sunday. It's time to look at some recent books on eBay that sold, some comic books graded by CGC. And while I do have some of the usual suspects in this video, I did find a few that were either ones I haven't covered that much or at all, or books that I personally had never even seen before. So I just thought it would be kind of a nice mix to give you an idea of really nice books that have been selling on eBay here recently. So let's go ahead and dig in. The first one is one that I've never seen before. I'm sure I could have if I had thought of it or looked it up on Go Collect or something, but I love this cover. This is a painted cover, Creature #1, and this is from 1964. It looks like kind of a more of a magazine style book, but what an awesome cover. I mean, it really is awesome. And this apparently is the first appearance of the creature from the Black Lagoon. And that just, I don't know, there's something about that cover that really speaks to me. I love that cover. Off-white to white pages, CGC 7.5, and this one sold for $340. Very affordable, really, in kind of a mid-grade, and presents very nicely, I think, for the price. So just kind of a different option for some of you that maybe collect horror or, you know, creature covers. That's one that I just had never seen pop up on eBay before, and I thought it was worth mentioning. Tomb of Dracula #10 is one that I wanted to cover because I think I covered a different Tomb of Dracula book from the series from the 1970s, and it had a woman kind of getting ready to stab a stake through the heart of Dracula. And I mentioned that I think it was Tomb of Dracula #15, and it was the first time that Blade gets bitten by Dracula. And it just made me think, I was like, well, maybe we should look at what his first appearance of Blade has been selling for. And this one, sure enough, did pop up, and it was kind of a nice kind of key grade, you know, the kind of mid-grade book that maybe keeps the budget a little bit more affordable, you know, that keeps the price a little more affordable. And this was an 8.5 with white pages as well. Very nicely centered and good colors on this one. So this is the first appearance of Blade, the Vampire Hunter, Tomb of Dracula #10. It was listed for $14.25 and sold for $12.60. So if you're into Blade, which I am, I love the original Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. He obviously made his reappearance and a cameo appearance in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I don't know what's going on with the new kind of Blade reboot, but I feel like it's time. It's time to make it happen, man. Blade is just too cool of a superhero to not bring him back. There hasn't been a really good well, I take it back. There was a really good vampire movie called Sinners. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. That was a great movie. Great movie with Haley Steinfeld and Michael B. Jordan. I mean, if you haven't seen Sinners, you got to see it, man. It's an awesome, awesome movie. But I think that Blade needs to come back. I just feel like it's time to bring him back to movies. But that one did sell, again, for $12.60. Some ASM books, maybe some more common stuff that we've seen in lower grade, but I wanted to at least show them since they sold at auction. We've got ASM #3 in a 3.0 with cream to off-white pages, the origin and first appearance of Dr. Octopus, a great cover. And this one sold in an auction for $10.90. After a certain grade, it almost doesn't matter whether it's a 2.0 or a 4.0. You know, they're going to sell in kind of the same range, but not always true. But I think for this book, these kind of lower grades, it's just nice to get one in hand, to have one in your collection. And it's probably from the early ASM books. This is probably my favorite cover. It's just such an awesome cover, showing Dr. Ock in a silhouette format with his mechanical arms holding Spidey. Really cool cover. That one, again, sold $10.90. And then one of my other favorites is the first appearance of the Hobgoblin. I think I've got two different copies here, and it shows you once you start getting into those mid-grades, the prices can jump up pretty dramatically. So this was a 4.5 off-white to white pages, freshly graded, and sold for $13.13. So $1,300. And then to go from a 4.5 just to a 6.0, the price can go up pretty quick. So this one was an off-white to white pager, 6.0, and that one sold for $3,000. So about double, or a little over double, going from a 4.5 to a 6.0 for ASM number 14. And then obviously another big one from the original, the Silver Age ASM run. Well, this is really the Bronze Age at this point, but this is from 1974, ASM 129, the first appearance of The Punisher, another great book. And this is about the grade. I think my copy is in a 9.4 off-white to white pages. And, it's everything is down. Everything is really down. So this one was valued by Go Collect around $3,600. And this one sold in a make an offer situation for $31.49. That's the lowest price I've seen for an ASM 129 in a 9.4 for a long time. I think I paid about $3,800, $3,900, somewhere in that ballpark. And it's just kind of steadily going down. And there's a lot of them. I mean, let's face it, even in high grade, ASM 129 is not hard to find in high grade. And this one I consider to be a pretty high grade copy. But, even in a 9.8, they come up, I'd say, every other month on the big auction houses. It's just not that hard to find it. And as a result, when you got a down market like we have right now, the prices are going to continue to trickle down. So $31.49 took that one home. And then ASM 238. Now, it's weird because ASM 238 is obviously one that's not hard to find in a 9.8. But this one is on the upswing. I don't know why. I don't know if the market knows something that I don't know, but it's obviously a great book, a key issue. And but for a little while there, in a direct edition 9.8 with white pages, you could pick this up sub $1,000. It was like $850, $900. And I was like, ouch. I mean, that was getting really low. But it's been on the upswing. So it definitely bounced off the lows. And I've seen several data points now for ASM 238, direct edition, not the newsstand. And it's been kind of in that $1,100 to $1,300 range. So this one did sell, and to buy it now for $1,300. Another more common modern book. I don't have a lot of modern books in this batch, but I wanted to at least show it. I love this one. This was Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, the first print, the first appearance of Spider-Gwen. This one had the custom CGC label for Spider-Gwen. Beautiful book. $700 took that home. And that one is down. I mean, obviously there's hundreds of them. I don't know about thousands, but there's certainly hundreds of them in a 9.8, if not thousands. But I'm really excited about the new Edge of Spider-Verse book, or not Edge of Spider-Verse, but I think it's going to be called Beyond the Spider-Verse, the animated film with Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales. The first two were must-sees. And I think that they're doing kind of final production. They're doing voice work. I know that Haley Steinfeld, who voices Spider-Gwen, she came out and said, I just finished the voice work for the new movie. So it's got to be getting pretty close. We're getting there. And I'm going to go see it opening night. There's no doubt about it. I loved the first two. So that one did sell $700. But for a while there, this was kind of going $1,900. But lately it's been more like $700. Some Batman books. We've got some early kind of Batman books that I wanted to show you. This is one that I hadn't seen in a while pop up on eBay, but this is Batman number 44. It's just a great cover. It's just a great early Batman cover from 1947, 1948, 1783 in an auction, but just a cool kind of Joker cover. Will the Joker have the last laugh? Awesome, awesome cover. And some other kind of key issues. We've got Detective Comics number 359 in a 7.0 off-white to white pages. The origin and first appearance of Batgirl or Barbara Gordon. This is one I still want to get in my collection. I just love this cover. $1,200 for a 7.0 off-white to white pages. Another kind of secondary key from 1971 is Batman number 234, the first Silver Age appearance of Two-Face. It's a pretty great cover as well. And it's a very affordable book, even in fairly high grade. This was an 8.5 off-white to white pages, $5.50. That's very budget friendly for these kind of books. In a Silver Age, first appearance of a major villain from the Batman universe for $5.50. Yes, please. I would love to buy it at that price. And here was an interesting one. This was a newsstand edition of Batman number 423. They never come up in a 9.8. They're just one of those books that's very harshly graded. And this was a 9.4 with white pages in a newsstand. That one still sold for $5.40, even in a 9.4 for a fairly recent book, a 1988 book. but it just shows you how tough it is to find that one in a high grade in a newsstand. 9.4 for $5.40. And then I've got some Wolverine keys that I wanted to talk about. We've got Hulk number 180, the first cameo for Wolverine, 9.4 off-white to white pages. That one sold for $21.60. That's a pretty nice price for a fairly high grade. And then we've also got a 9.4 off-white to white pages for Hulk number 181, the first full appearance of Wolverine. That one sold for $7,800, which I thought that was a pretty great deal. Freshly graded. It wasn't perfectly centered. It looked like it had a little bit of an overwrap going top to bottom, but give me a break. That's an awesome deal. $7,800 for Hulk 181. And then likewise, we've got the second appearance of Wolverine, second full appearance, along with the first appearance of some of the major new X-Men in Giant Size X-Men number 1. This was an 8.5 off-white to white pages that sold in an auction for $26.05. I love this cover. I've got this one in about a 9.2, I think, in my collection. But this is a beautiful book. I think actually mine's a 9.4. 9.4 for mine. But that's a beautiful book. And then I've got some Hulk 340s that sold. To me, I think if I'm going to get one signed by Todd McFarlane, a 9.6 is the way to go. Just given the price differential going from a 9.6 to a 9.8, and you still get Todd McFarlane's signature on it. But this was a 9.6 off-white to white pages listed for $700. The best offer accepted was $675. To go up to a 9.8 for Hulk 340 signed by Todd McFarlane, it gets up there. It gets up there really big. So it's almost $2,000 right now. I think the last one I saw sold that was signed by Todd McFarlane was around the $1,800 range in a 9.8 for the direct edition Hulk 340. And then we also did have a 9.8 for Hulk 340 old case style, but that was sold for $1,250, which is well up. And again, this is kind of similar story to ASM 238, where it got down below $1,000 very regularly. It was selling for $900, $950 for about a month or two straight. But since then, it's jumped back up again. So those are a couple of 1980s books that have bounced pretty heavily. I mean, you're talking about a 30 to 40% bounce in both of those books, but that one did sell $1,250. Another really hard to find book, sneaky hard to find book, is the last issue of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero from the original Marvel run. This is G.I. Joe number 155. Pretty great cover, and it just hardly ever pops up in a 9.8. I know there's probably quite a number of them in a 9.8. But what usually happens is they get sucked into a collection that loves G.I. Joe, and then you don't see them for several years. So these only pop up in a 9.8 on eBay once every 3 or 4 times a year. It's very rare to pop up. But this one did sell. It was listed for $675. The best offer accepted was $610. So, for a 1994 book, that is a pretty big price, but it always stays high just because it never shows up. It's a low print run book, and that's the last issue for the original Marvel run, G.I. Joe number 155. Next up, some maybe a book that probably you don't see very often, but this is Superman 78 number 2, but it's got Gene Hackman and Christopher Reeves there, and it's signed by Gene Hackman. Obviously, he passed away recently, so that's a tough... I think this is actually the first time I've ever seen a comic book signed by Gene Hackman. So you're going to pay a pretty penny for it. And it's a pretty great cover. I don't know. You can see Superman's like shaking his hand, Lex Luthor's hand, and he's got a very skeptical, non-trusting look on his face, as he should. But that's it. I don't know. I just love this cover. It's really cool. Signed by Gene Hackman, 9.8. Signature series, and that sold for $1,500. Honestly, if I had some money to burn, that is just a great book. That just looks really cool. I'm not saying it's going to be worth $1,500, but I'm just saying that it would be really cool to have in the collection. And then obviously a book that we see all the time pop up. This one continues to drop. New Mutants 98 in a 9.8. This is obviously the direct edition, but it sold for $852. That's kind of the lowest price I've seen in a while. Usually it's $900, $950, but $852 in an auction from a trusted seller, All Things Comic Shop. I bought from that seller several times. And then finally, we've got Something is Killing the Children, double signed. And the only reason I pulled this book up is because we've got Season 5 of Stranger Things coming up. It's already been shown to be the last season. Are we finally going to get Something is Killing the Children soon on Netflix? I think Netflix bought the rights to it, but it has not started. Nothing has come up on it, and I just think that this is tailor-made for Netflix. And now that we've got Stranger Things finally ending, I'm praying that Netflix will finally start production on Something is Killing the Children, because it's a great series. And this is the first print, obviously. First appearance of Erica Slaughter, the main protagonist. Double signed, and it sold for $1,500. So big number there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at recent sales of CGC graded books on eBay. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.